And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Student Activity Center. Today we are excited to bring you some ESC League of Legends action between your Central Michigan Chippewas and the Kent State Golden Flashes. We're going to get right into the draft phase as they have already started, and let's get into it. First picks here, we're looking at Talia Ash, and we're looking at a couple of interesting bands. What do you guys think of that?
Oh, we're red side.
We are red side.
Okay. Yeah. So for CMU, it's looking like we got better at that Swain. We know that they've got really Calamity really big out there. Zillion Band, Vex Band from CMU, and on Kent State, banning away the Mundo, Jax, and Aurora.
Yeah, CMU already drafting that mid laner early. Both ADCs, at least we can assume both ADCs have already been picked. Evan, you have a lot of experience in this. Obviously, you're the support. You're on the team.
I am.
What do you think the strategy is going to be for the Central Michigan team?
Well, for our team, we know Calamity, their challenger support. He really loves to play just about anything and everything. So we tried to ban out like the enemy mid laner instead, because we know he's diamond only. So we can really try and punish him for his mistakes rather than the challenger.
Yeah, it's really surprising here. We're going to see a Zaheen into Briar pick. I know you did some research about the Briar. What does that sort of entail?
Yeah, so Briar's going to fit really well into those dive comps, that global ultimate. She's really going to be able to pounce onto that Talia, that Jinx, and really stick to that target. I think for CMU, they're going to want to look for a little bit of disengage. Somebody to kind of separate that Briar. I think Orin kind of fits right into that.
And we can say both top laners have now been picked. You can flex Zaheen into the jungle, but I don't really see that seeing how the Briar's been picked. So you can technically flex Briar to the top lane.
You can.
Rare, but
I think Briar's jungle, just because their player who does play Briar is a Briar jungle OTP. Yeah. This guy last season had 279 games on Briar.
Wow.
I'd like to say.
We should see a very comfortable Briar.
Yeah. Our game plan was to ban it out. However, we thought, we can just counter him and then he'll be kind of screwed for the rest of the series.
Yes.
Yeah, looking at that sort of counter, who do you think we're going to see here for the Central Michigan jungler?
I think Talia is the jungler.
Oh, really?
We were in the practice range about 20 minutes ago. We were looking at the interactions between Talia, E, which is like the little box on the ground.
Yeah, I was going to say stops from
and then
dashing.
The Briar Q, which is her frenzy. And it does work. It does stun the Briar out of frenzy.
That's going to be big.
Yeah, that's
very big.
Huge, yeah.
So we are going to use that to our advantage. Hopefully, what our game plan is we're going to have Orn tank the Briar R. And then the second she gets in there, we're just going to put the Talia E on him, flick him in, and kill him.
Yeah, that's interesting. Talia is generally a mid laner, so it's really interesting to see. I don't know what their jungle clear is. Austin, you might be a little bit more familiar with that, but
I haven't seen it in a long time.
In terms of speed, in terms of all that.
Her clear just got buffed. She can finish before Scuttle spawns if she does it right. So we've been practicing that today.
That's gonna be huge. That's the only thing. You see the sort of off-brand, like off-meta sort of jungle picks. It's a little bit unique to see because Riot's made it in such a way that if you can't clear before that first scuttle comes up, you're not useless as a jungler, but your usefulness is greatly decreased.
It's gonna be a different profile for Pride too. You know, playing those hard carry support like junglers that we saw Monday, that Kha'Zix, that Rengar. It's just gonna be different.
I really like the Braum here, by the way.
Yeah,
Braum, especially into Briar Ash. I think Braum is really good. He can, if Maverick, Intoner 0, which is our support for this game, if he can time his E well and get out the Ash arrow, because remember the first projectile absorbed by Braum does nothing.
Yeah, it's fully nullified.
It's fully absorbed. So if he can grab either that Briar R or even the Ash arrow, that'd be huge.
Yeah, that's the way you can turn around fights. If you're being chased, you can fully nullify one of those two big ults. That's how you can fully turn around fights. And we're going to see the Orianna pick here in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Do you think they're picking towards the Taliyah being the mid laner currently?
I think they are because our mid laner, Greyswag, he does have a lot of games on Taliyah mid. Yeah. But what I think they're going to do is they're going to put either the Orianna orb on Briar or Zehen, and they're going to just ult him in, get him in, do the big Ori ult on everyone. Oh yeah. Specifically, probably the Jinx, and get him there. Yeah, definitely. The Bard, very interesting. I know Calamity is probably going to be their support player.
Yeah, so the Bard pick is a little bit unique here. We haven't seen one yet this season. No. He's seen a lot in pro play, so it's a little bit unique. Austin, I know you quite enjoy seeing Bards in your jungle when you're playing. So, what do you have to say about that sort of pick?
I like the Bard pick here. I think it serves really well into the Ward ult. There's a Lissandra.
So we are going to see that. We're going to see it Taliyah mid.
Taliyah
jungle.
Taliyah
it just seems so natural to say Taliyah's going mid, but Taliyah jungle is what we're going to see.
The Orianna Lissandra matchup, I think it should be a good one. A lot of range from those two. I think Lissandra comes out a little bit more bulky, a little bit more tanky. Give some health to the overall team.
I would really like to see this game taken to late. Especially because our team is so late game with Lissandra, Taliyah. Even the Jinx resets on her passive, and then the Ornn. The Ornn upgrades are going to be huge this game going into the rest of the enemy team.
I was going to say, Jinx's absolutely dream of that third item spike.
Oh, yeah.
Because third item spike, if you get a kill, you're a machine gun from that point on. You're completely unstoppable. Both you guys, I want to get both of your guys' opinion. Who do you think won that draft phase? In terms of, like, if you were to look in which team do you think really won? Who do you think is going to dominate mid, early, late games between both of you guys?
I would like to say CMU kind of got away. I think stealing the Braum pick was definitely a big move. Braum Ash, kind of a strong bot lane duo. And then also, helping all against that Briar. And then stealing the Ornn, I think Gato is really comfortable in that pick. I think it's...
I also think that CMU took this away. Like, if you take away all the ranks and all the skill of all the players and you just looked at the draft, I think we took away because of the Braum.
Yeah,
I think Braum is a very strong pick here, especially into Briar. Briar will just Q, we'll get the Taliyah E, the Taliyah rocks, and then we'll get the Braum Q, and we'll just shut him down before he can even play the game.
Yeah, I was really relieved when we saw a draft that was really solid. CMU, I was producing on Monday, so I was watching the entire games, and I was the first game really sticks out on me that the draft wasn't as strong. I think it was easily a 2-0 series if the first game draft was stronger. So, in terms of looking at pressure points where we think the early game action is going to happen, where should we be looking for those early game pressure points?
Honestly, it looks like I'm looking at the screen right now. I think Calamity is going to play the Bard support. So I think the action is going to be on Pride in the jungle. I think he's just going to leave the Ash, be like, see ya.
Yeah.
He's going to take Q, probably level 1. He's going to grab the 3 chimes that spawn. Run up into the jungle, get a deep ward, and they're gonna go catch him. So I hope he is prepared for that.
Yeah, as a jungler, Austin, how do you usually counter when you see a Bard playing in support? Obviously, Bard likes to roam. He's almost never in lane after he finishes his quest. So how do you usually try to counter that if you're Pride?
Well, as that Bard jungle, you got to know that you're in the Braum matchup. And so you got to really worry about your ADC and leaving them alone in that 1v2 matchup because Braum can punish that.
Oh, yeah.
Braum is one of the supports that can really kind of hop on that train and, get him. Especially as flashes up, that flash Q.
That early CC. Early CC is brutal because he has a passive where if you hit him 4 times, it in fact stuns. And it stuns everyone. And it's really effective. I believe Braum is actually, which sounds really weird as a support, I think he wins every single 1v1 at level 1.
He has a very strong level 1.
The 2v2 is very strong.
Which you would expect it to be the troll in the top lane in Trundle, but no, it's the dude with a shield.
Yeah.
Wielding a door. So
most Broms take Q level 1, which is actually what I do too, so you can get the long range proc on the passive. It does 75 damage base in early game. That's like an eighth of a health bar. That is really good.
I think it got nerfed in the newest patch. I thought I was reading the patch.
The level 1 is still the same.
Yeah,
the scaling
it
got
scale
nerfed.
as well. Yeah.
So level 1, he's still a demon. It looks like Central Michigan is swapping to the red side. We're on the blue side for some reason.
In terms of playing blue versus red side, what's your preference as a support player? Because obviously, I think bot lane has the biggest impact in playing blue versus red. So what's your preference?
I definitely like the blue side. It just gives me more agency to roam up top, especially if I'm playing Pike, Bard, anything like that. I can really kind of leave them alone because it's very safe on the blue side. But I think for the rest of our team, I'd like to see red side, just because I know Pride likes to play towards the bot side when we're on red for the dragon.
Yeah, definitely. You had something that you sort of wanted to...
I kind of want to look more into that mid-jungle kind of combination there. I think as soon as you hit that level 6 power spike, right at that 5-minute mark, I think that Lissandra R is going to become really vital for the Talia pick.
Oh, yeah.
Because you hit the stun, I think that's an automatic shove from Talia. If Pride's right there, I think it's a very quick first blood if nothing else happens in the first 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. If Greyswag can land a Lissandra R, I think we'll get the Talia wall coming in.
Oh, yeah.
And then he'll land, put down the pebble so they can't flash away, and then flick him back into it. Get the quick stun. I think that's all she wrote.
Yeah, I'd say Lissandra has a lot of change CC herself because her W is also another stun. So it really, you have the potential to stun somebody for as long as Morgana can without the disadvantages of actually playing Morgana. So it's
true.
It's going to be unique to see how they sort of utilize that. In terms of team fighting, because we know that that's usually what determines the mid and late game. Which team do you think has a better advantage in the team fight? Or do you think it's relatively even?
I think it comes down to the Bard ultimate, to be honest.
I do.
Bard ultimate is such a wild card. It's very tough to tell.
Yeah. Well, with the challenger being down there, I think he'll play it well, but you never know. He could always mess up. He could Bard all 3 of his teammates, and then we'll be there to punish that. But I think, genuinely, if we can get it to 25 minutes and the game's not completely lost by then, I think we can pull out a win here because of the Ornn items.
The Ornn item makes the Jinx stack even better.
Oh, yeah.
And I do think CMU probably has a team that sort of scales a little bit better, especially with the combo of the Braum being able to nullify. I think the Braum might be the secret pick of this match. And I think a lot of the pressure is going to be on Intoner 0. But I want to hear, if you were to put a person that has the most amount of pressure going into this game 1 that they have to perform, who do you think it's going to be?
I think it has to be the Briar. I think if it hits that 25-minute mark, we've got a very long-range comp. I think it's you can kind of find a little bit of homelessness. Where you're going to be caught out in between, the dead man zone, between 2 raging teams.
Oh yeah,
well, that's another reason I think Braum is really good. If Briar gets on the Jinx, you just Braum ult him off.
Oh yeah, the disengage value is incredible.
It's beautiful. I think he'll play really well.
And does Braum have a slow with that R? I'm pretty sure he has a slow knock-up. Yes,
it's a knock-up and then 20% slow while they're standing in it.
That will be brutal.
And combined with the Talia E, it's going to be ENW. It's going to be really annoying because Briar's going to be, it's going to be like a no man's land between 2 trenches sort of set up, especially over a lot of objectives in River. It's going to be weird to see how the Briar sort of ends up playing, especially if, as you mentioned, they end up homeless sort of in his own jungle.
Yeah. I think early game, we definitely want to play towards the second scuttle spawn, because what happened is with the new season, the 2 scuttles don't spawn anymore. If you kill both scuttles, only one of them spawns, and it's completely random which jungle it spawns in. So if it's in the bot lane ever, it's going to be a 4v4 skirmish for it, because if you get 2 full clears and then the first scuttle as a jungler, you'll be at 42 CS. And if you get the scuttle, that gives you 4 more, you'll be at 46, and that's when you hit level 6 as a jungler. So that'll be a fight for level 6.
And level 6 is like almost like a Talia teleporter, like a Rise teleport. As it gets her into fights, it allows her to be able to cut off the enemy team, and a lot of the time it allows you to be able to secure objectives. Because you'll see it a lot in pro play where the teams are sort of just fighting around the dragon a little bit. They start it up. It gets around to half health. And you see the Talia fly in and completely zone off that entire enemy team comp. And then they're just allowed to burst down the dragon for pretty much free. And I think if CMU is able to sort of take advantage of the fact that they're going to have that pretty close to free, if they can take advantage of the opportunities where they're going to have free objectives, I think they're going to be in a great spot.
For sure.
As long as they don't fly into their own demise. You saw that from FlyQuest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the World
Cup,
I've seen that a couple of times.
Oh,
Unfortunately.
quad.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we're gonna come to a break here for a little bit. The CMU, we're having to reset as Riot client sort of always sort of ends up messing with us a little bit, built on sticks and mud as always. But we're gonna come on break here. We'll be right back as we get into game number 1. Please stay with us. and welcome back to game number 1 of ESC Week 1 between your Central Michigan Chippewas and the Kent State Golden Flashes. We saw draft phase here just a little bit ago, and we are excited to get into the game. Austin, looking at this sort of idea, what's going to be the play of the game for both these teams? What's going to be their goals? How are they going to be trying to win?
I think CMU here is going to try and stay until that late game. Meanwhile, Kent State's really going to try and take that first step forward, get that early game going, rocking and rolling. They really want to try and get that going as fast as possible.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle of tempo. We're going to be looking CMU, as what we saw last game on Monday, they were very effective at being able to slow down the game and sort of like an anaconda, just slowly squeeze the life out of the other team, where I think we're going to see the exact opposite from Kent State. They're going to try to speed up this game as much as possible, push their advantage they have in the early game, and really take advantage of the level 4 team fights if they can make it happen, and the level 6 team fight especially. They're going to be looking for those big opportunities. Looking at the top lane is probably the most changed role, now one of the more influential roles in the league. Who do you think is going to be able to take advantage and get that early DP advantage?
Well, I think that Zahen is going to be kind of a problem for CMU there. I think our Orn is going to maybe struggle a little bit against
such a very early sort of gank, as we're going to see CMU trying to scout out that big and forcing the flash out of that Briar, looking for that very early engage. They might be able to get a full pick here, as he does, and it gives it to the Lysandra, exactly who you want it. CMU able to secure the first blood and the first kill in the game in that Lysandra with very little amounts of losses in any lanes. And Greyson is going to be in a very strong position here very early. CMU is sort of, we might be walking into it though, they're going to try to trade, as we're going to see the challenger player, very good flash there, and an Intoner, and both teams trying to come out swinging here early. CMU with that first blood. Looking at sort of going forward here, what do you sort of expect?
Yeah, it's looking like bot lane for priority is going to go over to Kent State here, as CMU kind of has to back off. Losing that much HP early on with Braum, he's going to go through that potion. He keep chugging down both of them, and it's just going to be very, very tough to get back into that bot lane.
Yeah, and in bot lane, they're able to push their advantage once more, forcing the Jinx to take her second potion. That means her only little bit of sustain left is from that Doran's Blade that grants a little bit of Omnivamp, but nothing much to keep her sort of alive. Greyson's here is sort of being oppressed a little bit by that Orianna.
Yeah, Greyson's not going to be able to take advantage of that kill gold quite yet until that first back. So even though it looks like CMU's ahead, there's not really much he can do to take advantage of it.
Yeah, Greyson forced out the flash there early, as that Orianna is able to utilize that QW combo to force that back. Greyson's going to stay in lane, though, taking one of his potions early. And there's a big flash by the Orianna. Greyson's going to be forced back here, as he is able to secure the kill. Iman Williams is able to just get a little bit of the better of Greyson. They both trade flashes, but unfortunately, the Orianna will come out ahead. And CMU here struggling to maintain priority in the bot lane. Intoner not able to quite utilize that poke terribly well. And DV, obviously they're trying to play towards the late game, but this is the advantage that we mentioned of them trying to speed up the game as much as possible. And they're in a tough spot here.
Yeah, foot is on the pedal for this one for Kent State. As we see that Greyson and Orianna, Greyswag and Williams are just going to, both go 1 kill each. It's going to be really tough for Lysandra to stay in this game, because Orianna's going to have all that poke in that lane phase.
Yeah, as I say, the range difference is really going to be what it's going to be sort of defining. CMU, this bot lane, they seem exceedingly nervous. DV is sort of just content. I'm going to soak XP, but Jinx is one of the more reliant champions on that ability to take gold. As we mentioned, 3 items is really where the threshold is for going to be strong. So it's going to be a little bit concerning to see how they sort of develop.
Yeah, as we're going to see Taliyah kind of drop a ward here right into the enemy jungle. Just picking up any sort of vision that they can get.
We're going to see an early Briar gank as Alchemy burns his flash to jump on. We see that Briar E come out, pulling him to a fully sort of engaging, and unfortunately CMU is going to go down one more with that Briar securing the kill early, and the game is now very much open for that Briar. She needed that first kill, and we're going to see a full back from the Kent State team. Looking forward here, CMU, obviously they're trying to slow the game down as much as they can. They haven't been really successful here early. We can see, once again, Greyson is forced under turret here by the Orianna. Orianna really utilizing that poke to really just press Greyson in lane. But Greyson is doing very well. Farm is really even early.
Yeah, as we see this big wave sort of crash into the bot lane here. I'm going to see if what DV can really make use of this. A little bit of a CS difference growing in the bot lane here as Bard is able to kind of zone off DV in any sort of poke.
We say a big push there by the Bard. Bard is going to have a lot of sustain in lane. As you can see, those little healing shrines on the ground give their ADCs a huge amount of just ability to heal. It's not something that, unfortunately, the barometer will bring, so he does provide sustain in other ways. Looking at the sort of farm difference, we know 15 CS is a kill, is what's equivalent to that. So we can see that currently the Kent State ADC is up 1 kill in terms of gold on our Jinx. Looking forward, how do you think CMU has to play around that?
I mean, you can kind of see it right now at the top. I mean, there's almost a 1,000 gold difference already forming for the Kent State team with the CMU. So that gap's just going to keep growing and growing as stats continue to funnel into the Kent State team, unless CMU can do something to stop it.
Yeah, they've really got to stop the bleeding here. As we're going to see a little bit of a skirmish in top lane. We see both Conquerors come up. Intoner taking a beating in bot lane. As we see that Talia is there to cover, as we do see that Grim Deliverance come in from the Zehen, as he's going to have revive, but he's going to be able to get out in top lane. Going 0 for 1, a solo kill in lane is bad. As we see Pride going to be able to trade in the bot lane, going 1 for 1 down there. As we are going to see the Briar going unstoppable here for a second. Pride here is going to be stuck in a little bit of a loop, and DV is really in trouble here. No flash, not able to do very much, as he is unfortunately going to go 0 for 2. CMU coming out with a 3-2 trade, really not ideal for them being able to move forward.
Yeah, it's looking like it was a 1 for 2 bot lane. Not what you want to see out of CMU in the early game.
Yeah, Greyson here is going to have to play really, really cautious. You sort of have to sit back. Oriana just has that poke, as we see right there.
So much range from that champion.
I was going to say, that's like 1/6 of the health bar right there, and that's just a simple Q. Intoner here is going to have to try to do his best to try to slow him away, if not much he can really do, unfortunately, as Pride is going to try to rotate to his top side, try to fight for Scuttle. Right now, it's CMU's in a really precarious position as they're down 2k gold as of right now. And we're going to see a big engage here by... We're going to see that Briar engage on Pride. Pride's going to be forced back.
Ult here, let's see.
Does not have quite ult currently, as he's going to pop it. And we do see them trade flashes as Sparkthos does take him out. Greyson's also going to die in lane here, I'd imagine. He does stay alive just by a little bit, popping that extra potion. Great that he has that one left. He did have one left after that early engages. We're going to see Gato fighting into Zaheen top lane. Gato just is not going to be able to really do much in this matchup as of right now, as he does have the Sheen that Zaheen does. And we're going to see Gato here on low health. I do not think Zaheen has that ult back up, so he should be safe for the time being. And we do see the overlay come up. We're able to really see the magnitude of the situation CMU is now in, with them having gold leads all the way across the board. Moving forward, how do you think CMU should approach this game?
Yeah, all 3 lanes here are not going to be very happy, as I mean, they can barely even farm, and I think Talia is not quite the champion to be able to take advantage of all those wave states being pushed up.
Yeah, not really. Unfortunately, other than her R, he really doesn't have a ton of engage.
No.
That is a little bit rough. We're seeing the Zaheen sort of, we call fishing. Going to be fishing for that, for Gato just to step up a little bit. And we are going to see a small engage here. I'm not sure Gato wants that, as he's going to get knocked up. There is the Grim Deliverance once again, securing the kill on Gato. And CMU struggling, as now Gato has been killed twice solo in the top lane. It's going to be really rough. That lane's going to be really oppressive from now on.
Oh yeah, as the gold gap continues to grow, approaching the 33,000 mark right here in the early game.
And we're looking at our first Dragon fight now. Dragon is now up. CMU really not going to be in a position to really contest. I could see them taking this opportunity to sort of shove in waves and just back. Take it while it's there. No need to try to force anything at this point. As we mentioned, they're trying to slow down tempo, and that's one of the small ways they can try to do it.
I think as CMU here, you kind of are looking for the cross-map objective. So if Kent State is able to take one, like either the Drake or the Grubs, they're going to be looking to get the other one.
Here's a big engage. We do see the Weaver's Wall come out from Talia. You see the big engage there from Greyson. We talked about that change to CC.
Very nice dodge.
Great dodge and a great flash there by Greyson to allow Pride to sort of end that skirmish.
Very well played in the mid lane there by Greyswag.
I say brilliant. He was able to make a tough situation for himself really look ideal.
Oh yes.
So we are going to see this sort of roaming Bard here as they're going to take Dragon. I would assume unopposed. Greyson's going to take that back. So he did leave the wave pushing though, so he should be coming back to a very ideal. Pride, I can't imagine him trying to seriously contest this, but he will be able to take small chunks out of the Bard. Make sure it's not completely free, as we are going to see the Bard ult come out. We do see that Tempered Fate release, as we do see the Briar take out that. Fortunately, Pride just stepping up a little too high. I think he thought he was playing a little bit of Rengar there, being able to jump out and not but able to. As we're going to see a big engage by DVrk, as unfortunately Intoner's not going to be able to
that Briar damage.
I'm going to say Briar is really in a dangerous spot, as Intoner's just going to try to walk out. Just so much slow on that team, as Alchemy is going to be able to take out Intoner. Top lane, we're going to see Zehen here in a really good spot. We do see that Call of the Ram God out, combined with that Grim Deliverance, as unfortunately Gato is going to fall once more in that top lane, and that is most likely going to give Void Grubs if they want it to state.
Yeah, we've seen that Zaheen ult 3 times already.
I was going to say, he's using it on cooldown.
Yeah, they've had their ults for about 3 minutes, it feels.
3 minutes, and it's been used every single time, as this is going to be a big chunk out of his tower gone. Orianna is just going to take the back here. I think both of them may just decide to take the back, or does look like Pride maybe trying to make a play for the Void Grubs, try to take it out directly under their nose. Pride here is going to try to engage on that Zehen top lane. Does have the CC to be able to do it. We see it right there. Call of Fortune God not up from that Ornn, as we're going to see the big push, and Pride able to secure the kill with a shutdown. That's going to be a 500 gold shutdown for Pride, and that is very nice, as we may be seeing a little bit of an ambush here build.
I see a Briar art here coming out soon, though.
Use it. We are going to see the use of the flash there. Biochemistry on that Bard. He's going to see the big engage, and unfortunately he falls just so immediately. That Briar damage is insane currently.
Yeah, Gato gonna see if he can do anything, saying get out of my jungle, but not much else he can do.
Yeah, not much, unfortunately. We are going to see support. We're going to see quests here finish up pretty soon. That will give that Zehen a ton more map pressure, and the fact that he is 1.4k gold ahead is really dangerous, as we are going to see this Briar take Void Grubs pretty uncontested. What do you think Void Grubs are going to do for the game in terms of speeding it up, slowing it down? Sort of, what's the reason why we take Void Grubs?
So Grubs are going to speed up the game a lot by adding some more of that turret damage there.
See the Tempered Fate come out from the Bard bot lane, as we do see DVrk trying to get him out. We see that big counter engage by Intoner, as he's also forced to flash. Alchemist is going to be forced forward, as Intoner is going to be able to get out. Using that W a little bit late, but it is out, as CMU is going to be forced back into this lane, and that's another wave that they're really not going to be able to do a whole lot on.
Gotta say, I think Brawlmar was a little bit misplaced there, targeting the Bard there.
We are going to see Greyson forced to pop that Ice Tomb in lane to try to save himself, as we do see Talia take one. That makes that Jinx infinitely more excited, as you do see the Ice Arrow come out.
Gonna land. They might be in trouble here.
As you see Briar ult come in, DVrk is landing on, and we do see great disengage, forcing the flash out by the Briar, who is still able to execute that 2-person ult. And CMU in a rough spot, as Briar is now 8-1, as he gets 9-1. Braum is a little bit too far forward. Just those little bit, not like to call them mental errors, but unfortunately just little things you can't quite get away with against the Briars.
Not respecting the Briar range quite as much as you'd like to see.
Yeah, she is a melee champion, but she has more range than you would think.
Oh yeah, very unexpected. As that Briar is going to have quite a bit of gold to spend here.
That's going to be a full item in base, I would imagine.
Oh yes.
Looking to the mid lane. Mid lane is probably, as of right now, the bright spot for CMU. They're somewhat even. There's about a 4k gold, which is a little bit, as we are going to see Gato here. And he gets sort of just harassed in your tower a little bit by the combination of the Bard and the Zehen. I don't think we've quite understood, but the Bard is really the machine so far that's made the whole thing go. Do you want to elaborate a little bit more on the impact of it so far?
Yeah, Bard's plays up top so far has been making Gato's lane go from unplayable to just downright
suppressive. Yeah, and we are going to see another big engage here, as they're going to fight him for his Krugs, which is just a little bit concerning, as we're going to see the 3v3 developing here, as we do see Zehen pop in. We're going to see that Bard Tempered Fate come out. Here comes Call of the Forge God by Gato, as we're going to see a massive Orianna R come in on that Shockwave, and Zehen is going to secure a double, and we do see Sparkthos on the Briar going to become legendary, as they are able to go 10-1, and this game is getting a little bit out of hand now for CMU, as the angles are slowly closing for them to be able to come back.
Yeah, Kent State here just looking like a well-oiled machine. All of them collapsing very nicely on that top lane, everyone knowing their roles, going for their targets, and it just works.
And we are going to see that first tower go down, as that Zehen extends his gold lead even further to 2.9k.
Yeah, we might see mid-turret go down here too, as Orianna is able to crash a full cannon wave into it.
That's going to be a lot of health.
A lot of gold going to that middle lane.
I was going to say, if we can look up at the top, you can see that 11 plates have been taken to Central Michigan's 4. That is a massive gold lead, as we are going to see that mid turret fall. Overall, the angles are closing. If you can think of any angles right now for CMU to try to come back, what do you think they would be?
CMU's mainly going to have to look for some mistakes here from KSU. Otherwise, it might be wraps. It's going to be pretty tough to get back into this game.
We do see Greyson get that support quest finished up, the mid lane quest. That'll give him a little bit more damage, but overall not a huge buff for him. Important to note that Orianna finished her quest almost a minute ago, which is a little bit of a showing how the mid game's been going so far. But CMU here is going to be developing. Greyson really trying to step forward. He is going to pop that Ice Tomb, healing up a little bit, maybe able to get out. Not really going to happen as he does pop that flash. And Sparkdos is going to once again take another kill. That Briar, every kill she gets is another 2 minutes that she is useful, as Pride and Intoner are going to be back-to-back here, forcing their way out. And CMU still trying to develop it.
Yeah, CMU's going to have to be aware of that arc, which did just come out. Looks like it just missed wide of the Talia.
Great sidestep there.
Gato, and a little bit of a skirmish to the head. They're bringing their battle a little bit more towards the mid lane, though. Not like the top lane they're used to knowing and loving.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're all fighting over that Rift card that you can see right there. If you are to see the Aftershock pop from that Orianna, just to sort of scare DVR early, as they're going to be able to secure Prio. DVR, I don't think, sees that bar down in the bottom right, as we are going to see him take a huge amount of damage, and Calamity taking out DV in the bot lane under tower, as we are going to see Gato here maybe trying to bait it in. We see Pride right there. Here is his Weaver wall, as that then may be trapped in. His Grim Deliverance comes out.
It's going to be a little dangerous here.
All the Forge Gods out. Pride forced to flash here. I think this may be a 2v1 angle here, as Gato is just getting in. Unfortunately, he's beaten down. Not a whole lot of need. The Hen does have his revive up, as we are going to see one. And unfortunately, that's going to be a double kill for Zahen in the top lane, as CMU had a good angle going there for a second.
Yeah, I think the 2v1 idea was nice, but they just kind of
And Greyson there, able to really capitalize on that.
Well done.
Zahen got a little bit overconfident.
Oh, yeah.
Overconfident there.
Overconfidence everywhere with the two that were originally trying to fight Zahen, and then Zahen himself. Try to stay and push out that wave there. We are going to see that the Bard is picking up Medjai's, though, trying to end this game as quickly as possible. Got all 15 stacks already. We're going to see a lot of damage, I think, from that Bard.
Yeah, well, when you're a challenger player, you can sort of
get away
with some stuff like that, as we're going to see the Penn State team take Rift Herald. Rift Herald makes either the next turret really easy to take or the next dragon fight infinitely easier. So we're going to see how they use that, as we are going to see both teams just sort of try to go back to neutral a little bit. CMU trying to find their grounding. They've got to ground themselves now if they want even a sliver of hope.
Yeah, it just gets tougher and tougher without those tier 1 turrets, though, as you start to lose a little bit of safety. You kind of lose that safety net that those tier 1 turrets supply with you, and you gotta take a step back as you have to hide closer and closer to your base.
One thing to note is that there is a lot of gold on the map now for CMU. If they can get even a sliver of a lead, if they can try to counter push, which Orange's not really known for his counter pushing ability, but if he can get in the side lane by himself, there is a good potential for him to be able to sort of get a lot of that gold, maybe get a little bit of it back. They get a 3k gold lead instead of a 3.4k gold lead. Something similar to that, as Greyson is matching that Orianna in the side lane. I can't imagine much is going to come of this. Greyson is similar level. He's actually doing quite well in this Orianna fight, as we're going to see a little bit of engage here. Calamity able to get out a little bit, as he's not going to be able to do much. Ash Arrow is out. Big cleanse there by DVR, as the Tempered Fate forces both summoner spells out of the Jinx.
Looks
as
like
he's going to get hit. The Briar Ult hits in the middle,
Yo.
as we do see that Jinx also go legendary here. Sparkdos is going to be collapsed on here by Pride. Forge God is out, as we're going to see the big pop. Unfortunately, that goes empty, and Calamity here with that full Medjai is going to be really scary, as Sparkdos gets another kill. Intoner and Gato may be forced just to step back here. They don't have any damage between those. They're two wardens, they're two tanks, they're two whatever you want to call them. The beefy boys up top.
Yeah, CMU here, if they can find the angle to find this Briar and get a really nice pick on one of their carries, that is 1,000 gold shutdown.
It's 1,000 gold shutdown.
Could be a big game changer.
I imagine the Zahen also has a pretty solid shutdown on him. Oh, he does not. Unfortunately, the only person is the Orianna who's about to take this bot tower. We are going to see Gato here just really forced back in the lane. We see the Rift Herald pop. It was sort of a use it or lose it situation, because it was held on for quite a bit. That's going to facilitate this tier 2 mid tower going down. William looked to be on the losing end of a Lysandra trade in the bot side. Interesting. Gato here taking a little bit of damage under tower. The Orange versus the Hen matchup. What does it look like late game?
Late game, usually the Ornn is kind of a, he's kind of a walking unit, more so for his team rather than against the Hen. But as a Hen, Bruisers late game, they shred armor like it's nobody's business.
That's true. That Black Cleaver.
That Black Cleaver from Briar there is going to be critical in that Ornn not being as tanky as he would like to be.
Definitely that. The Black Cleaver shredding a huge amount of armor really makes the guy that is literally made out of armor quite unhappy, unfortunately. CMU, we see the game slow down here. We're entering the phase where everybody's just sort of waiting for the objectives. You can see up in the top right that we have about a minute until that Wind Drake comes up. They were very, very thankful that the Drake was Wind instead of Hextech or Infernal. That would have been a little bit worse for CMU, but Wind Drake is less of a problem. Overall, we are going to see Baron spawn here earlier. I thought I saw Baron spawn. There it is. We do see Baron spawn.
There we go. 20-minute mark coming in right around the corner here.
See Gato cut out a little bit here by the Hen once more, as we are going to see it. Stop it, both Gato. He is going to be able to get out. He does have 2 items now, and he is building against physical damage, which is very smart.
Yes. The Hen's not going to let Gato step anywhere past that turret, as he's just lying and waiting.
Yeah, he's just going to sit there.
Opportunity.
And CMU really in a rough position. Greyswag holding on by a thread to that turret. He is going to be able to extend more than you would imagine most of the champions. This is a lot of get-out tools. As we may see an engage here, a small engage by Greyson. We are going to see it in the bot lane. We do see Braum go one, but we do see Pride strike onto that Ashe, and we're going to see him forced out. The Orianna is going to be able to get away, getting over that Weaver's wall that the Talia can use so well. But CMU only able to get one, a little bit less than I imagine they wanted from that.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see Gato fall.
That's what we call fishing, as Greyson going to sort of jump on Al Calamity. Great stun there as Greyson pops the... I don't think he has ult available currently, as Al Calamity is going to fall.
Oh, is he going to get away from that? No. Oh, man.
Greyson not quite having that Icy Tomb available quite yet really makes it struggle to pin down an enemy for that long.
Man, that Bard pick would have been kind of pivotal towards CMU, as you want anything you can get, especially to take away those Magi stacks, which are slowly becoming closer and closer to that 25 mark.
I was going to say, slowly becoming a problem. As the more time you can't get a kill on him, it's going to be really...
Oh, yeah.
As Penn State is now doing what CMU did to Ohio earlier this week, is they are now slowing down the game, waiting for objectives. They're going to do what most teams should do and just try to play by the textbook here. Take Baron. If we have the advantage, go take Drake. Just play by textbook CMU. They have to try to play almost by textbook themselves and just look for cross maps. They've got to look for towers on the other side of the map where we know where 4 of them are. Let's push where they're not.
Yeah. All about knowing where the enemy team is and where you are.
Comes down to the support. Braum does have has solid vision score. He's able to really reveal a lot of the map, and they're able to track pretty well, but that's going to get more and more difficult as there is a roaming Briar in every single one of those bushes, or at least he has a
here.
As we are going to see the Tempered Fate come out, and they're going to collapse huge on them. Intoner is not able to quite get away as DV sort of gets trapped out. He's a little bit too far forward. The front to back, as they're going to be able to push back. I think Pride is going to try to have to leave Intoner here. Not going to be able to, as the secret tunnel pops through the wall. Pride here is going to be really forced out. Gato able to get it, as we do see a big engage by Greyson. Greyson popping into the corner. He's going to be able to get it. As we're going to see, Pride can get a single one out.
Wow.
Not able to, as the Hen getting that double execute onto both of the CMU top and support players. Has CMU is really in a rough spot here, as they're going to most likely take an inhib and the Baron.
I don't know if they're going to be able to end here. There's a chance. 30 seconds on the clock, 15 on the Braum, but it's going to look like at least 2 inhibitors fall here for CMU here.
I would imagine CMU, I'm not sure they're going to try to push to the end. I imagine they're going to try to be very methodical about it. They have 2 Drakes until, I believe that first Drake was...
Oh yeah, maybe KSU's struggling a little bit more with Baron than I originally thought.
Yeah, they don't quite have the damage you would expect. I mean, we do like to see it out of a little bit, but Briar's not really known for damage. The Hen's objective damage is not great, and
well, Ashe is kind of the farthest behind on their team.
Yeah, exactly, only 2 people. Well, actually, I think the Orianna is a little bit ahead. Well, yeah, Greyson is actually pretty... He's outplaying that Orianna pretty well. His just impact. His impact has just been very well felt. Unfortunately, his Bard is... He's just a monster at this point.
He's a problem.
15 Magi stacks. He's 1 item, or 2 items off full build.
Always lurking, too. You see him. He's been more on the upside than he has on his own jungle.
I was going to say, scary thing is, he is showing himself on vision. He's he wants them to know where he's at,
yes,
as to make himself threatening, which is something that we do not see from a lot of supports, but you can get away with, which is how threatening this promise them. Oh, DV might get caught out here. He doesn't have that tier 3.
Look at that bar damage.
The tempered
onto the
fate
ADCs.
is
Are we
out.
going to see a 1v1?
You may be able to see it. He sees
Oh
it
my
and just goes
goodness.
to the wall. We do see Al Calamity take out DV as he just gets caught a little bit high. Just unfortunately just pinched out a little bit. We are going to see a tower in the top. We're going to see on the top side Gato fighting with that Zahen. Try to get him out. He's going to be able to. As CMU is going to try to do a small collapse. Forge God is out as we're going to see the Grim Deliverance get him out of the situation. Gato here going to get followed up on, unfortunately, by Diaz. Zahen. He's going to be able to get out using that wall. Sort of like a backdrop for it, as they're going to be looking to end here right now. CMU in a rough spot as Greyswag and them prepare for their final stand underneath this turret. As we do see the big engage aftershock comes out from that Orianna. We do see that Brahma also come out, trying to slow everybody and get him out. As we do see that giant, absolutely colossal Briar E knocking everybody into those back turrets as they're going to be able to take it. Al Calamity here is going to take that back wall with a full side Pride. Really in a tough spot here as he's going to pop that. Zanya's out. We are able to get that initial kill. He is no longer excited, unfortunately. And DVrk going to try to heal up from maybe a last kill. I can't imagine he's going to heal ultra terribly well. As Al Calamity is going to push forward. DVrk just does not quite have the damage to stop this game from going yard. Kent State 1, CMU to 0.
Yeah, very dominant showing from Kent State today. Briar did fall at the end, though. 1,000 gold shutdown gate did go over to the Jinx there at the end.
A little bit late, but you know what?
A little bit late.
It shows hope. It shows he's not invincible.
It does, yeah. Gods do bleed.
Yes,
they do.
He does. And CMU, there were some upsides. Greyson, I think if he plays that way in the second game, he once again will win lane.
Yes.
He was the lane obviously we knew was going to be a little bit rough. Orianna into Lissandra. And Lissandra into Orianna is a little bit iffy. But overall, what did you see as somebody who has a little bit more experience in terms of where do you think the focal point was where the CMU team could improve?
I think that Briar was just very dominant in the jungle lane. As soon as the quest kind of went up, it was all hands on deck for Bard. Bard was just impacting every single lane he could, roaming at every opportunity. He even found the poke there. I mean, the pick there at the very end we saw on DV. I mean, that's the support taking on an ADC, and the support won.
Yeah, that's scary. That's the scary thing about Bard, especially as we know Al Calamity was going to be the focal point of this team. And we were wondering if he was even going to play support because of his recent ranked performances, which we won't talk about. But it was interesting to see a Bard of that level play.
Oh, yeah.
Just the way you could tell he was thinking about the game was just totally different than how we think about the game as who are not quite that caliber of player. But it's really interesting to see how CMU is going to try to come back. I think they're going to try to draft more around, can we prevent Al Calamity from really getting ahead at all, or prevent his impact? How do you think they're going to do that if he continues to play support?
Well, it is a fearless draft, and so we're not going to see somebody quite as mobile, quite as much of a wild card as Bard be picked again. And we're also not going to be able to see something like that Warren support that we were hearing rumors about from Al Calamity. But I think CMU here is going to be able to fit more into their central idea of maybe we're going to see an assassin jungler for Pride. I know that we love seeing those. I think Gato here is going to have some comfort picks up there in the top, a little bit something more. Maybe we'll ban out something that can, like those bruisers that we struggle against. I think CMU is going to be able to hopefully take a step up.
I think they've got to. I think they've got to make the laning phase easier for Gato.
Yes.
I think they've got to play somebody with a strong laning phase, who, as soon as you hit level 6, it's really hard to kill. Somebody that comes to mind that I know Gato has in his champ pool is once you hit to 6 with Scion, hopefully that Soul Furnace is already so stacked that you're a wall. You're as durable as the dragon that you fight, which is it's a little bit. It's a unique pick because you can't first pick him. You would have to second. You have to wait and see who the other top laner is.
Sometimes you can really punish that pick.
Oh yeah, yes you can. But I'm going to be intrigued to see what CMU comes back with. We're going to talk to some players. We're going to see maybe if we can get somebody else in the booth to talk about the draft, talk about the previous game. But we will be right back with all of that in just a minute. Thank you all for watching and stay with us. And welcome back, and we are ready for Game 2 of your Central Michigan Chippewas playing against the Kent State Golden Flashes. CMU coming out with a struggle in Game 1 as Kent State was able to sort of push back the CMU team, but they are undeterred going into this Game 2. Central Michigan banning out Swain, and it looks like a Thresh ban here. Kent State deciding the Aurora and Jax should not be played. Going into this Game 2, what do you think the keys are going to be for Central to be able to bounce back?
I think we're really gonna have to pay attention once again to that jungle role. A lot like how we were looking at that Monday game. Jungle really had a huge impact on the game. I think we're gonna need that CMU jungler Pride, who we've seen step into that leadership role. We're gonna need to see that again probably in this Game 2 in order to have a Game 3 tonight.
Yeah, he's gonna have to really try to bounce back. CMU deciding to ban out the Belveth makes sense. Ban towards that jungle. We know that jungler is probably feeling very, very confident after going 11-1 on Briar.
Mm-hmm.
So let's make sure that he's not 100% comfortable whenever we force him to play.
Yes.
They decided to ban out Mundo, trying to make ban towards Gato. It makes sense. Jax and the Mundo are some of his more favorite picks, so it's going to be interesting to see sort of what they're looking at. It's pretty interesting to say that the jungle was super impactful because we know everybody thinks the jungle got sort of nerfed in the new season.
Oh, we could see a Rengar here. Rengar has not been banned. We know that Pride wants to possibly get that comfort pick, with a Smolder out there. Rengar's not looking like a bad pick here.
It is very vulnerable dragon.
Yes. Very, very confident pick if it is done. As, you leave that room for the counter pick from the jungler and for the next 4 picks from KSU.
Yeah, flex pick would be ideal here from CMU,
Flex pick would be ideal.
We're not going to see a flex pick, though. I'm pretty sure that Sivir is going into the bot lane.
Yeah, that Sivir is going to be there for Smolder. I think they're just giving themselves a little bit more time to think about the Rengar pick here.
Yeah, I think if they're going to pick it, it's going to be here because Bradford is going into ban phase next. So they've got to be careful about this. They've got to really think about this.
Approach with caution with this one.
Syndra pick.
Syndra.
Give him more range. Try to play towards more of that poke.
Very safe pick. Very safe pick, in my opinion.
It is, especially with what we've seen from the jungler in terms of other champions he's really comfortable with. We see the Belveth is gone. We've seen Kazak's on him. We've seen a couple of other sort of more closer range sort of junglers. So it makes sense with Syndra. It's you could very safely just poke under tower.
And I think that Syndra also does work for that Smolder. If that Smolder does get online near towards the end of the game, reaching that, that pivotal 225 stacks, Syndra just presses R, and usually he's deleted.
Yeah, she also has sort of a 225 stack mechanic. It's 112 splinters.
112 splinters. Yep.
It's a little bit interesting. We are going to see the Maokai pick here. Maokai is not a pick we see a whole lot. He has some interesting. We're going to see the Victor right after. Victor Syndra is what's the mid lane. It's probably going to be, once we see something truly out of the ordinary.
We are going to see the Rengar.
It is good to see. It's great to see Pride on who he's probably most comfortable with out of anybody in the entire world. He was talking to us about how his name sort of came about.
Yes.
Originally, it was a Pride of Lions, and he was going to Rengar one trick.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what everybody thought it was, but
not quite.
It's what he thought, so that's what's important.
Pride of the jungle.
And we are going to see the Malphite ban trying to get rid of possible predators for this Sivir and the Syndra.
Do we think that Maokai's the support? I have a sneaking suspicion that it is. No support. I think that Maokai fits into the way Calamity like to play the Bard. It kind of gives him a lot of motion, a little bit of damage too. Yeah. A lot of CC. You're kind of that engage with that ultimate. I think Maokai's really good for like a shot caller kind of role here.
Oh, definitely. You can make plays. The map pressure is really going to be the really.
Oh, yes.
It's really scary from them. And we are going to see the Darius ban. KSU, it's no secret to who they're trying to ban against. They're banning against Gato. They're going to put as much pressure on that top lane. And the Maokai pick for you makes even more sense now to be that support because you can sort of bully a top laner with playing Maokai. So how much lockdown he has. CMU going to ban out the Poppy, sort of. Where do you think they were going for that approach? The Rengar pick is obviously, I imagine, who they're trying to ban against.
Yes. I think that Poppy would have kind of caused some problems for Rengar there if we did see a Poppy in the top lane or the support lane. Maokai Poppy kind of fitting into the same roles.
We're going to see the Cho'Gath. That is the 4th straight ban of a top laner against CMU. Gato's champ pool is slowly shrinking by the second. It's going to be interesting to see. I think the Scion is still very much on the table for him here.
Yes, very much so. I mean, that Smolder's going to be a little bit of a hassle for someone like Scion, but it's not undoable.
Yeah, definitely. You can still 5th pick him here. I mean, nice thing is they do have the last pick of the whole draft, so it wouldn't shock me to see it here late. The Gragas pick is also going to be a little bit more interesting as it could get off me tool. If the Maokai comes top, he has good sort of disengaged sort of ideal. So, what do you think of that pick?
I think the Gragas pick is very nice here, just because I think Gato has a little bit more comfortability with it. But I think Raspberry, we were just interviewing a little bit earlier, not too long ago. I think he's going to be calling for that last pick, seeing what he can do against this.
And we're going to see a Jin LeBlanc. Where is that Smolder going?
Oh, no.
The Smolder could be going top lane. I've seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
You run Grasp, you run a couple of other weird things. You could see Jin. I don't think you could flex the top lane. He doesn't have quite enough mobility / escape tools to be able to play that. And I think we could see a Jin Maokai bot lane. It's definitely seen. It's been seen before. We've seen Smolder top. Victor versus LeBlanc. Who do you think is going into the jungle? Or we could see a very weird... We're going to see a Nautilus pick. Nautilus is, in my opinion, an absolutely fantastic pick into this comp. You can hook 4 out of the 5 of them, and they are pretty close to guaranteed dead. So it's... I'm not really sure what to think of this. I'm sort of... Maybe you have some insights.
I think the Nautilus provides quite a bit of appeal for this team here. I mean, that Sivir is looking at a LeBlanc.
That's true.
Yeah, LeBlanc there, a little bit scary to kind of go into. But very AP heavy sort of comp here.
I was going to say, they're playing... I mean, Smolder, you can go both. You can build a different sort of build where you go more physical than magic damage. Mm-hmm. Maokai is magic damage. You have the same thing with the Victor and the LeBlanc. It's going to be a truly fascinating game, but one thing's for sure, Rengar is licking his lips right now.
Oh, yes.
There is 4 targets that if you press R on them, they can pretty much just turn off their monitors.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're not coming out of the lobby. If you are their coach, what do you think you're telling him right now to sort of play around for CMU?
CMU, obviously looking for those pokes with his Rengars. You get those early kills on him, we can see a very similar game to what we saw game 2 on Monday.
That's true. You can see a very sort of reversed situation.
Yes.
In terms of the team comp, what do you think we're looking at? Where do you think everybody is going?
I think the LeBlanc is kind of up in the air. I think the Smolder's gonna hopefully find some.
I think it's Smolder top.
I think it's gonna be Smolder top too. I think Smolder into the Nautilus is what you'd be looking for. Get a lot of the Smolder stacks going.
Well, you think? What about Smolder into Gragas? If you're Gato top,
I don't think you want the Smolder into the Gragas just because that top lane. It's kind of rough for the Smolder to really punish it. That Gragas can kind of have all that engage with his E. It's a big burst. Surprise amount of burst. I think the Smolder bot lane would most likely be fitting here.
Yeah, if this was last season, if lane swaps were a thing, this game would have gone absolutely crazy because, it's a very sort of unique situation. We don't see a lot of these crazy drafts all the time.
No, we do not.
And this is the kind of thing that you quit out, you dodge if you're in ranked and you see this sort of team comp.
Oh, yes. I think KSU is trying something a little bit different, trying to put on a little bit of a show here. Yeah,
I'm looking at mid lane, just because Victor and Syndra neither of them are really known for their sort of lane dominance in terms of being a lane bully. They both sort of just usually absorb pressure, sort of sit back. Who do you think is going to try to be the more domineering one and pushing them towards the...
I think Victor's going to have quite a bit of a range and poke throughout this lane. I think Syndra's going to have a little bit more of that burst. I think when you're looking at fights, that's where Syndra's kind of going to be a little bit more dominant in those 2v2s with your jungler, but that Victor... as that lane state continues on, as his abilities start to evolve, I think they evolve a little bit faster than Syndra's. Yes. I think that's where Victor's going to start to ramp up. Especially in those team fights that Victor are, ever since they reworked it to become bigger and bigger and bigger, like a storm, we could see a massive Victor ult in this game potentially.
Yeah, we're looking for either a glorious evolution from this Syndra, or we're looking at a sort of just slow splinter evolution. Mm-hmm. I do think they're going to hit their power spikes around the same time. I think we're going to see the Syndra sort of hit her Q power spike, which is her first one, at what we call 15 splinters, which is like her stacking mechanic. Mm-hmm. We're going to see that around you're looking for 5 to 8 minutes is where you're looking for that, where Victor, I don't think he gets his first evolution until probably closer to 10 minutes.
I think Victor, it's around that 8-minute mark. He's going to have that E is going to be evolved, and he's going to get a lot more range.
Yeah,
it's going to be pretty dominant when that happens.
It's a very sort of, it's a weird game to look at. I'm going to be really intrigued. We can see who they're actually locking in on top, so we can definitely fill you in on who's actually going where. Could we float the idea of a LeBlanc support? He does have that little bit of. He has that little bit of
kind of feeling that symbol. Like we've seen the Elise support before in our own games, where you're supposed to kind of dominate that lane state.
Isn't that
yes, And I think the lock kind of does fit that profile. As we do see, it looks like the Smolder is going to be locked in top lane.
Smolder into Gragas. CMU is... I imagine they're feeling pretty good. We're going to see the Rengar Maokai. Not too big of a shock there.
Mm-hmm.
The shock is going to be what the rest of this looks like. Because now, I think we are going to see LeBlanc support. So LeBlanc support is going to be fascinating because it is the most off-meta champion you can really get.
Yes.
Which we've seen. We know that Calamity is he pushed as the number 1 Ornn. Obviously, we know that Ornn is a top laner. There's not even a section for support Ornn anywhere that you can find in terms of statistics or anything. So it's unique. It's a weird situation.
Oh my goodness. We will see what this Gragas Smolder matchup looks like. Yes. It's going to be a lot of early game poke from that Smolder, but if that Gragas gets, his full combo on before he falls behind, I think that Gragas is going to have a really fun time with that Smolder in the top lane.
You think we're going to see Grasp with the Undying Smolder? Is the other thing? A more tanky, battle magey Smolder?
Yeah, that'd be very fun. I imagine we'll see an Arcane comment come from the Smolder.
Just full poke?
Maybe a Fleet Footwork, but, Grasp with the Undying would be pretty fun to see.
Yeah, I was going to say, we could see the mythical 6 stacking Smolder, where you build 5 items that all stack, and then obviously Smolder himself stacks.
Hubris, put a Gathering Storm, Ruin on him.
This bot lane is looking absolutely delicious for that Rengar. I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
Jhin, who has 0 tools really to get away, and LeBlanc with almost less than 0 tools to get away. I mean, she has her E, or Q. I believe that's almost a full teleport, almost like Ezreal. But it's a weird situation that CMU is sort of forced into.
Very much so.
It's almost like analysis paralysis, where we talk about where Rengar just has so many options to play around. Who is he going to play around? Who's going to be the strong side? Who's going to be weak side? Who do you think he's going to try to play around to try to get ahead?
I think it's going to have to be somewhere in the bot lane. I think that top lane, the Smolder's probably going to play a little bit more safe. That mid lane, it's really tough for that Rengar to really get a gank on you. Those bushes are just a little bit far away right there at that river's edge. If that Rengar ult can come up a little bit earlier than the Maokai ult, maybe we'll find something there. But I'd be looking at that Jhin. He's a very immobile champ. All he's got is move speed.
He gets ghosted when he reloads, and that's every 4 shots.
That's about it.
You can only count to 4, and that's the only time he can run. So he's really got to be shooting.
Big 4 guy.
In terms of the Nautilus, I think the Nautilus Rengar combo is really something we need to talk about because just the amount of CC, the CC into just the death trap that is.
Yes, if Nautilus can find that pivotal hook onto the Jhin, I believe the Rengar is going to be right there to pounce on him. I think Nautilus can keep him there for a good 3 seconds before the Jin's able to do anything. LeBlanc's there, but LeBlanc's not going to be able to stop anyone from really dealing damage. She's only going to be able to do more damage herself. So unless she has enough damage to, make up for it and take somebody out like the Sivir, we're going to see probably a dead Jhin.
That's very fair to say. That Jhin he's in a rough spot. He's looking at this draft. He's looking at the support that just got picked on his side, and it's worse than seeing a support Lux, unfortunately.
One thing about the Jhin, though, is he does have a lot of range. So if you can't offer that, he can kind of play a little bit distant, but Nautilus, a little bit scary.
Sivir does have some of the lowest auto attack range in the entire game. I believe the only people that have worse than her are Varus. So and Varus obviously has other poke tools, but Sivir is a unique pick in the Jhin. What do you think the power sort of levels look like? What spike is Jhin looking for? What spike is Sivir looking for? What do those sort of look like?
I think Jin's going to be more of one of those consistent champions that throughout the game, he's going to be present. He's going to be able to do some damage to that Syndra, that Rengar, that Sivir. But the Sivir is really looking for that end game state, past 30 minutes, honestly. Yeah. That Sivir really, really, really likes her item and gold combinations. She is known for farming as one of the strongest farmers in the game, having that ricochet available. All she wants to do all game is farm. Kind of looking like a game profile of similar to last game. Besides the Rengar, CMU once again probably wants to make it to that late state in the game.
Yeah, it's going to be weird. We recently saw Sivir actually broke the record in pro play for most amount of farm in ever with anybody, which is insane. But as you mentioned, Sivir is a champion that needs gold. You need to get 3 items, and then your power is really there. Where Jhin, those early team fights, especially on the first dragon, it's going to be really weird. Looking at objectives, Void Grubs, first dragon, what do you think we're going to see?
I think we're gonna see a little bit of a skirmish. The thing is, with the way KSU kind of drafted here, it's a little bit more tough for those early game objectives. You don't have nearly as much health in those early game fights as, say, CMU's Gragas pick and the Nautilus pick. I think it's a little bit more easy for CMU to collapse on a target, and numbers advantage is huge, huge in those objective fights. And so, hopefully, if KSU doesn't pick up an early lead, I think CMU could, very well secure an early game objective.
I may be totally wrong in saying this, but I think this fight is I think this whole game is really going to come down to can Syndra out-sustain Victor, or other way around? Can Greyson really be able to dodge that Victor poke and really be able to sort of come back at him? Because I think whoever's healthier going into those fights are going to be who wins. So it's a weird situation for Greyson to be in. And I think based on that first game, who you want your hands on, who you want to be the most important, is Greyson in these situations. Looking at invades, do you think either side is going to invade?
I cannot see it. With the minute being removed from the game, it's going to be a little difficult. Maybe you're looking for it with the Nautilus Rengar, but as we do see them kind of approach this Jhin here, I don't know if Jhin quite saw them. Oh, he's going to drop that ward though.
He doesn't need to see him now, as he's going to be just sort of forced back. I think Pride was trying to do a little cheeky engage there early. In terms of looking at this, we're going to see Gato just sort of standing 2v1. Early game is going to get poked down just a little bit. Luckily that Gragas does have a lot of sustain in lane.
Well, we are going to see an invade here from the Maokai.
Maokai invade is really risky, as he does not have a ton. LeBlanc here is just going to try to be a little bit annoying to that Rengar. Early game, I do think LeBlanc is significantly stronger than Rengar, I would say, as he's going to try to force in. Important to mention that Pride does indeed have Smite, as he's going to die. He might die for this blue buff here. He's about to he's 600. He's going to get it. Unfortunately, we're going to see the rotation here by both Greyson, and not going to look like William's going to be rotating terribly well. Pride here may get baited in, as he's going to take one. He's got trying to detect the clone, as Victor is going to secure the first kill of the game using that auto attack Q. Really do it, as we're going to see the Nautilus engage. Greyson here is going to force back Raspberry in a tough spot, as he's just going to get kited out of this fight. Calamity here is just going to force his advantage. This is going to be a little bit of a disaster for CMU early, as Raspberry is forced to flash. Not going to be able to get out, as
wow,
the Wizard
what a snipe from Jhin there.
Yeah, that's great communication. As that was a blind shot. He had no idea where it was. Calamity and William, which had to guide him a little bit, as KSU was able to secure the first 2 kills of the game.
Not the start from the game that you want from CMU here.
Yeah, it's a concerning start, CMU, to say the very least. Victor and Jhin are really who you do not want to have those kills. As you mentioned, Victor does scale harder. The more kills you give him, more minions he kills. You gotta watch out for that, Victor.
Yeah, I think this LeBlanc pick actually working out really well in the favor of KSU. That early game damage with that W ability, kind of making it a hassle for Rengar. I don't think we're too used to seeing that.
I was gonna say, you don't usually see supports be that aggressive this early, but the fact that he was, and the fact that how devastating he was, it's something that he's gonna have to get used to, especially as we go into a sort of a harder part of our schedule going forward. As we're going to see a big engage here by Gato, trying to really force him back. He's going to get kited a little bit. We mentioned that the lane is going to be oppressive until he hits level 6, where he can do his full combo. As we see Gato take even more damage, though Jungle 101 is not healthy, to say the very least.
Oh no.
Gato also has an ability to heal, I believe, with his W, allowing him to chug it down that peg, getting himself a bit more healthy. But CMU, they're not in an amazing spot, but the game is certainly not decided at all quite yet.
Certainly not decided quite yet. As this Gragas is really forced into the tower.
Force Gato to farm under immense pressure. We already see him being able to collect pretty well, as small farm gap, but nothing much to really do it. I would not be shocked to see something called a cheater recall here from Folder to back up, pick up gold, and we may be seeing that from EV as well, as we're going to see him shove in lane on 2. Just sort of back. He's going to back that call, giving you more amounts of gold from each minion you kill.
As we're going to see this Smolder pick up even more longswords. The Smolder's going to hurt early on, but as we see Pride kind of roaming towards it, looking to see if he can find anything, don't think anything's going to happen. Pride's going to take this back.
Definitely. overall, we're going to see Pride. He's just going to have to threaten it. The Smolder does have that really good escape tool with his W. That lets him just really jump. He just can't do anything. Just do it. Yeah, just straight up jump. We are going to see the cheater recall here from DV get that call. Obviously, we mentioned a very gold-hungry champion, so any more gold that they can get is amazing. It's CMU. We're just going to enter sort of a calm state for them. They're just going to try to get back into this game a little bit. Greyson's going to be forced probably to back here. No mana available. And no just has
We are slowly approaching that level 6 mark where Gato's going to feel a little bit more comfortable, but I don't know if he's going to be very healthy approaching it. As we're going to see a little bit of a river fight breaking out here. Raspberry's able to land that hook, but I don't know if there's anyone that can follow up.
Shannon, Victor Q, we're going to see them follow up in the bot lane in the river, as we are going to see William take out Raspberry here early. Unfortunately, Raspberry's going to fall to 2-0. Not really what you want to try to twist Nautilus, but it was a very good engage there by KSU. Gato's not going to be able to quit too much, and the top lane is he's just going to get out sustained here. Something that's interesting that we didn't talk about yet is jungle top laner decided to go with fleet footwork. It's pretty clear that he's going to try to just outplay that. He's just going to try to outplay Gato in the top lane.
Yeah, it's going to offer that little bit of movement speed, a little bit of health sustain. Try to nullify anything that Gragas can hit him back with. But Gato, now with that level 6, might be looking to find a kill angle if possible.
Yeah, that Gragas ult is a massive arrow that you just throw. It knocks them towards you, and then you can land your full combo, as we mentioned, which would be devastating to the tiny little dragon.
Oh, yeah.
As we are going to see, CMU is probably going to have to give this. Pride doing a great job cross-mapping, going to take the entire top jungle, as Penn State's going to secure this first Drake of the game. DV I think he's just content. He's going to try to freeze this wave, sit under tower.
Yeah, as Pride here, you really want to hit that level 6. There's a lot of targets on the map that you can kind of go for. And being behind the next key is not going to be fun.
Especially as a guy that needs to get ahead, sort of like Rengar, though he scales better than most assassins.
Yes. As you just have to click them and they just blow up, typically. Very nice.
That's the hope.
That is the hope.
We're going to see here, it's sort of a more interesting state that both teams are in.
Yeah.
Neither team is really trying to increase the tempo so much as we saw in game 1 from KSU. CMU trying to slow down the game. They've got to make it as slow as possible to allow them to scale up. And we weren't able to really see it in game 1, but that's going to be the goal here.
Yeah, it looks like Victor's already going to find that evolution for his E. Picking up those first two kills, helping speed along that process. I don't think Greyson's going to have a very fun time in the rest of the lane. Gato looking for the engage here. Trying to get a little bit of damage on that Smolder.
It's going to be a 2v2 as Greyson and Pride deciding to take a little bit of a skirmish. He does see him in the bush as that stealth ward is providing good amounts of vision. And Sparkthos, the jungler, is looking for a little bit of value. Luckily, Pride already cleared that, so he can't really be taken.
Nope.
They're going to actually just sit and wait. They're going to see if Greyson steps up here. Greyson does not really have vision of him currently, as we're going to see that big Maokai R. Greyson doesn't really have any escape tools as that Smolder and as that Syndra. And he's going to see, this is most likely going to be a dead Syndra here.
Oh yeah, and Calamity just right there, just in case Greyson decided to somehow get away a little bit. Calamity was there to keep up the pressure.
Yeah, that was good pressure there by Calamity. Really, they're just a catch up if he falls, sort of like a backboard almost. As we may be looking for an attempt to steal, as I don't think Pride has any smites as of right now, and I do not missed out on it. That's a good.
Looks like Pride's gonna get it.
Calamity here. He's really just been the focal point of this team. He's been so threatening. CMU is not really sure that how to act. We're going to see Pride here engaging. Raspberry's coming in behind as a great bola there by the Rengar. Force barrier out by the Jhin. It's a great too, and DVR is going to be able to secure a kill. Calamity there just a little bit too late as Pride will secure the kill. Top lane, Gragas is in a tough spot here as Jungle 101. The Smolder can just fully harass him under tower for free as the Maokai trades the Jin's life for Void Grubs.
Oh yes. Yeah.
See what I see? Let me be
like
looking at a little bit of a tower dive here.
Might be a little bit of a tower dive coming in for Gato. I don't know if he's going to be able to trade here. R has been used.
Not going to be able to quite do it as Sparkthos. It's better to go on the Maokai than the Smolder.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, we are going to see a great hook here. And they were able to just keep him barely out. Raspberry, once again, doing what he does. Great pressure there by him. And that is a big hitbox. A big anchor.
The big anchor. You do not want to get hit by it either. That will be devastating.
And we're going to see a sort of another one. They're going to both back here after those two good engages. Gato here in a better spot than he was. They're still pretty even on lane. Only a little bit of difference to the farm, about 500 gold.
We're going to see another gank
Pride
here.
The gank once more. There's a Smolder W that we were talking about for his escape tool. He is essentially helpless now except for his flash, as we do see that come out. Pride here, able to force a flash out. Gato in a very strong spot now in lane.
Very unfortunate timing with that minion wave there. Pride looking for the boa to root him.
Oh, we're going to see here, big ult there. Ult by Maokai, as that's going to be forced back out. Calamity's picking up the kill. Not exactly what you wanted on, but it's better than giving it to your Maokai again.
Yep, this Maokai building a little bit of a damage here. Looks like we're going to see an full damage comp as KSU just continues to grow that lead.
Exactly. Maokai not going to build as a tank, but building that, what appears to be that Beyondries, which is a little bit unique, as we're going to see another pick in the middle here. Raspberry here just biting off a little bit more than he can chew, as they're going to force a flash, a great flash there by Raspberry to get fully over that wall. And DVR is now in a tough spot, as he knows he's got two above him, and he has the LeBlanc about to tower dive in the bot lane. DVR, Al Calamity, and Spike those is going to try to dive him here. I can't imagine he's going to try to trade. Here's a great one. Jin ult out, as he's going to try to cut the 4. One miss. He's going to have to dodge this one. Great dodge. Great sidestep there by DVR. So he's going to have to try to force into tower. He may be able to get a 1 here.
DVR
great
playing
flash.
This very well.
Oh, that
canceled
he does.
By,
he's going to be able to go 1 for 1. That's actually great for him.
A lot of time killed too there. DV playing that very well with the barrier and the flash.
That was a great engage there by DV. Able to really, your goal, if you know you're going to die,
take one down with you.
Take one down with you and waste as much time as possible. Yep. That's what the goals are.
A little worried that the Maokai canceled the auto there with his W, but yeah. Looks like DP was able to trade with 1.
Yeah. Rengar is just really... He's got the entire top side of this... Of Sparkos once again. That's twice now that he has taken this full top side.
I wonder if we're going to see a tower dive here, as Gragas ult just misses the Smolder barely, but Rengar is here with ult.
He does have Thrill of the Hunt available, and we may see it. He is
popped. I think there it is. Going to be going down here.
You can see that icon over his head. That means there's a Smolder there. You might as well just...
Boa does miss from Pride, though. Is that going to be costly? Oh, very unfortunate.
With a great opportunity there. Not quite able to execute on it.
Not quite. Just that Boa missing just wide, and the Gragas ult missing earlier is just enough for Smolder to safely get back.
The Maokai ult in. Great spell shield there by DV to be able to get out, but unfortunately Raspberry does not have that same benefit, as we are going to see that big Maokai great engage there by Raspberry to sort of try to keep DVR alive.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you got to do.
Yep. Providing that peel. Keeping your AD carry alive. Very well done. Looks like DV might be going down anyways, as KSU just decides to turret dive. You know, you got the damage there. Turret's going to take a lot of damage. It's the block, providing an immense amount of value.
Yeah, definitely, it's great overall from KSU so far. CMU has got to be looking for an angle, take advantage of what they can. They've got to be looking to try to pivot here a little bit. Rengar does have a great big farm advantage on the Maokai, and I believe they scale differently, not obviously what their goals are, but he does scale a little bit better.
Yeah, as we see this kind of a minion gap, kind of growing and growing in the mid lane. I think that Victor lane is starting to become very oppressive there, as, you know, that poke is just unsustainable. Can't land against it as Syndra, I believe.
You cannot. Syndra should have, and actually on paper, other than Zoe, I believe has the furthest range in the entire game. Using that W, you can throw minions at the other person. Their own minions, actually. It's pretty interesting, actually. But you can throw the minions. As we're going to see Pride here, hunted down in his own jungle. That's a little LeBlanc W, and Al Calamity going to take the kill. As Pride really trying to just farm and not going to be quite able to. As Gragas here is going to really get kited by Jungle 101. He's going to be forced to back up. As we are going to see that ult come out from the Smolder, as Gato is able to just barely get away. Overall, CMU is in a tough spot, as they're going to take the second break of the day, an Infernal Drake this time. And this, whoever pops on the screen next in terms of what dragon it's going to be, is really important.
Cloud Drake. I think Cloud Drake is actually going to be pretty strong for this team comp here. It's going to provide a lot more movement speed for them to capitalize.
As we are going to see Nature's Grasp combined with that Jin ult coming out, DVR under tower. We're going to see a two-time tower dive.
Big
and we are going to
Raspberry.
see Nautilus able to just barely secure the kill on that. We are going to see, unfortunately, William take out Nautilus, and we are looking at a sort of rough CMU hold lead about 5k. Gato, rough spot. We are going to see Syndra coming in from mid lane, just shove in. Pride is also there if needed, and they're going to try to tower dive similar to how they just got tower dive themselves. And we are going to see a forced TP out early. We're seeing a fight develop at top lane.
Yeah, we're going to see a thrill of the hunt here from Rengar. Looking for any sort of angle here.
Gato not going to be able to quite stay alive as Pride's forced to flash in. Greyson jumping in as well. Greyswag able to secure the kill on Jungle 101. They might not be able to get out as Calamity does secure the kill there on Greyson. DV in a rough spot here as he's just going to have to clear wave. He's not going to be able to do much against this ultra long range Victor.
And Calamity playing with a lot of confidence here. Even though he's 3 levels down, he's looking at Rengar right in the face.
He hit great forced flash there by Raspberry, taking advantage of how big that hitbox is to really scare him. Calamity though, hunting Pride along with Wizard Howl in his own jungle. Pride he's just got to feel uncomfortable. I got to say, they're forcing him to play sort of really scared. Raspberry forced to flash as well as he sees Calamity below him. Darius got to hide under tower here, unfortunately. DVR stepping up a little bit high for my liking. He's going to be able to get out of there just barely. As we're going to see another tower dive, DVR not going to be able to quite trade here. As we're going to see a great grab there by Raspberry. Raspberry once again with an excellent Q as he is going to unfortunately go down. He did allow that tower to ramp up really well. Going to take a chunk out of top lane here. We are going to see a 2v1 bot lane. Greyson securing the kill on Jungle 101. Action all over the Rift as State does overall come out on top, but CMU looking for a solid sort of re-engage.
Yeah, I believe that's the second shutdown going to Nautilus. A little unfortunate, but very nice for the team to pick it up.
Yeah, definitely that Nautilus. Raspberry doing a great job. Trying to minimize those tower dives is super important. And he was able to use everything to try to get that kill. Not ideal, but better than nothing.
Okay, indeed.
You're going to see Gato matching the support, which is a little bit interesting as support matching top laner probably shouldn't happen, but it's happening currently in the top lane. Raspberry here is trying to take a deep ward, get that vision in their own jungle, to allow Pride to play with a little bit more free. As Gato here is going to look for a bit of an engage maybe on Calamity. We do see that root come in, and that is the damage you see from the LeBlancs when they get fed. As we are going to see Nature's Grasp come out once again, this is going to be able to be a nice kill there for Calamity as Gato overextending a little bit for that pig ward, and unfortunately is going to go down as we are going to see another situation developing in the bot wave as William is going to take down Greyson. A little bit unfortunate there, just get caught in his own jungle. We can see that currently the jungle is just, it's a wild place in there for CMU.
More than 1 death per minute on average. This game has not backed down. Kind of the game you want KSU to have.
That's exactly, I guarantee the game plan was, we are going to fight.
Fight, fight, fight. That is the name of the game for KSU. And CMU, let's see if we can find a way to slow this team down.
Gotta slow it down now. If they get over 20 deaths, if they get over 20 deaths, this game is really going to get unsustainable. It's important to mention that Sivir only has 1 item, and she's going to need at least 2 more, as KSU is going to unfortunately make our Rengar homeless, as he is going to take the entire side from them, taking red buff as well. Okay, it's proving to be aggressive in this game.
Yeah, Smolder approaching the 164 stack number. He's stacking about 10 per minute. That's kind of what you want to see from the Smolder.
That's a very good sign.
Very, very good sign.
The pros do. 10 per minute is always the goal. It's always what you're measured against. Well, some of the top guys do 12, but
it's very top bar margin. But yes.
As we are going to see Calamity and the Wizard Howl sort of engage. A little bit of a skirmish in the middle. We're going to see a situation developing as all 5 are converging on their location. Raspberry here is going to have to pop that certainly as early. We're going to go out. Williams just absolutely blows up that.
Oh my goodness.
Just blows up DVR. It's going to be forced out. Greyson, unfortunately, going to go down to that storm that we mentioned from Victor. And the glorious evolution is nearly complete. We're going to see Pride jump on. That's just not what you imagine. Pride just not able to do anything to that Victor.
Nope, this Victor's having quite a bit of damage here. Calamity seeing if he can get anything over the wall. Looks like Pride's just going to back off and respect it.
CMU's just going to have to play with sort of a dog-eat-dog mentality. They're taking this Drake. I'm going to go to top lane. I like the Gragas pick, but I almost feel like a split push here might have almost been more valuable. But
maybe.
that's-
We're gonna have to wait and see what KSU decided to do with this Rift Herald here, as you know they're trying to keep this game going.
it's
Kills coming.
Yeah, it's gonna be valuable for them to do a quick herald here, try to keep game tempo up. We are 4 minutes to the next major objective, which is Cloud Drake. KSU is currently sitting on full point, so one more Drake and then they get a huge power spike. But CMU is in sort of a rough spot. Right?
As we do see a Smolder kind of just marching on in into maybe a Nautilus hook here. Victor really close by. As he's gonna stay there.
I think Pride thought there was somebody coming down that lane, but there does appear to be now, as AL Calamity is going to come down the lane. I don't think he sees the Rengar in the bush, maybe, as we're going to see. Small engage here. Pride wait until he can jump. He does get the hook on the side. Not going to quite be able to, as they are going to trade 1 for 1.
Fall.
Trading 1 for 1. That was a shutdown available. So that's solid. That could get the Rengar closer back in the game. Rengar passive. Unique thing. Each time you kill, you get more, more attack damage?
More attack damage, which helps out in all things. All
As
the
we're gonna
vision
see
difference.
a
He's going to
great
find the
collapse.
William here. Hook going to miss from Raspberry. Is it going to make a difference?
Yeah, Nature's Grass coming in on
looks
both.
like it is. The hook difference is going to allow William maybe to get away from here. No. Gato's going to flash for that.
We are going to see, unfortunately, a
look at that,
4
Victor. Oh.
for 1, unfortunately, for CMU. Greyson, the only one left on map, and he is sort of in... he's just not going to be able to do much here to take from the Baron. It might be... most value you can probably get here is try to get half that turret in the bot lane, but there's not much he's going to really be able to do to stop the turret. Overall, looking at the CMU team so far, this has obviously been it's a massive sort of improvement from last year overall, but this team has still they have a lot to improve on as a team game, and this Kent State team is really it's the baseline that you want to be. So looking at improvements that they can make for the early and mid game, what are we looking at?
I think CMU is just going to look out to iron out some of those early game mistakes, trying to look for, when we're walking into a team like this with a support that's going to be really aggressive, we've got to be ready for those level 1 invades and how we're going to counteract those. I mean, we see the supports bringing Ignite. We see the Maokai's going to be building AP. I mean, it's just going to be... it's tough to counteract, but we got to find a way to respond that isn't just feeding into the way that they want to play the game.
Pride here deal with that aggressive jungler here, really, as the Nature's Grasp comes out once more from this Maokai.
Yeah,
Greyson able to sort of counter it, able to put his own sort of ult on it. Raspberry taking a ton of damage here as that ult comes out from Victor. Great. That's a great...
yeah, looking like CMU's just going to overstep just a little bit as that Smolder ult finds Raspberry in the back line there and finds that front flying Gato.
Pride here might be able to jump on his perk, though. He's not going to be able to get found out. That Maokai really does sort of mess with the Rengar just because he has that sort of mobile ward idea. He's going to be able to get out quite easily. He is going to get seen on the way out with that long ward, but he's going to be able to get out and take his Prouds with relative ease. Oh, he's going to get seen again. DVR here is going to get tower dove here, unfortunately, I would imagine. Yeah, we already see the flash there by the Wizard Howl. And CMU in sort of a rough spot. That was a huge amount of damage.
A lot of damage on that Jhin there.
Ramped.
Oh, yes. As we are going to see a 6,000 gold difference in the mid lane. That Victor looking very, very strong.
He has reached his glorious evolution.
Yes, he has.
CMU in sort of just a farm mode. They've got to try to just take it a little bit back, hold it a little bit, but it's overall hasn't been the worst. Early game was really what put this up. Their mid game and their late game macro, we saw it on Monday. It has been good, and we see that from Pride in the mid game. He sort of is coming back. He's only 700 gold off that Maokai, which is solid. It's a good sign from Pride. It really shows how good he has been and how good he will end up being in some of these in the matchups where maybe they don't respect the Rengar as much. But overall, there's a lot to be seen. This is a very young team. This is a completely new 5-man roster, so it's going to sort of see how they're going to react to this kind of stuff.
I think KSU just a little bit more experience.
Here's a good 5v4 opportunity as we see the Victor here. He does not have TP.
Smolder ult. Going to find 4 of them there.
That's great. That's forced an ult out of Jungle 101, who's still going to get that kill. CMU sort of dismantled here a little bit as Al Calamity is going to get the fight here on DVrk. Unfortunately, Gato's just a little bit too far away as William takes out that Gragas and Greyswag. Once again, the only one alive is he's going to pop the ult, the Jin ult with the 4 shots. Not going to quite be able to get away, and CMU unfortunately has been aced here, and this may be the end here, folks, as we are looking at countdown timers with Sivir being the first significant one back in about 14 seconds. This is going to at least be a 2 inhib spawn. Is then 2 inhibs, then a Cloud Drake Soul, and then
yeah, as Nautilus responds, not enough wave clear to kind of hold this off, but we'll see what he can make do it. As Sivir's back.
They are going to look for the end here. As Sivir is the only one remaining, we are going to have 6 seconds here until the Seizures back up. Pride up right now. Not a lot of bushes for that Rengar to jump out of here. Unfortunately, inside of the Nexus, Pride does not also have his ult up. Drill the Hunt not available. As we are going to see them build, we do see a great engage there by Greyson, finding that stun. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough, as Kent State will take the game, winning 2-0 here in ESC Week 1.
Man, what an exciting game, as it was just nonstop activity throughout.
Yeah, overall, Pride never... He did have a rough early game, but after he got over that sort of little hiccup, he was really able to come back in that game.
Oh, yeah.
Pride had a very, very, very bright spot overall. I think it's easy to look at the scoreboard and say, hey, we obviously got a little bit outclassed today, but I think there was a lot of bright spots to build on. Grayson's game 1 was an absolute masterclass. He completely stood up and ended up actually, in my opinion, outplaying his lane opponent. And then Pride in that second game was, once again, quite solid. So it looks... There's a lot of good things to look at going into this next game.
Yeah, I think CMU is still looking like they have a little bit of promise there. There's a lot of potential behind the wheel. A little bit more of those laning states, a little troublesome, I think, for CMU. But going forward, who do we have playing next?
On Monday, we will be playing Miami, Ohio, which is going to be a sort of interesting sort of matchup. But tomorrow, our Valorant team has an opportunity to sort of come back and beat Kent State. Here on Thursday, we're going to be back here tomorrow for that, and it's going to be a wonderful game. 8 o'clock once more. We thank you all for watching, and we will be back once more. Have a great rest of your night, and good night, everyone.